I mean, I
Yeah.
could take my board down, but that's my ideal weight.
Yeah. So apart from obviously this fight coming up within the division, have you got your eyes on anyone where you'd love that fight?
Just anyone with the titles.
Hi everyone, this is Sasha from Women's Fight News, sponsored by Champions Memorabilia. Today I am joined by pro boxer Nina Hughes. Nina, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I know you've got a fight coming up, so what have you been up to? Have you been super busy?
Just training really hard. Just been in camp for the last few weeks. Training ready for 11th of February against Bec Connolly.
How excited. I was so excited when that fight got announced. I was like, yes, this is the one I want to see. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
So when did you find out that like Bec would be your opponent?
I think it was like 8 weeks before I fought the fight, so around Christmas time or just before Christmas.
Yeah. So was you in camp over Christmas?
A little bit, ticking over.
Did you have to watch what you were eating?
I still would enjoy my Christmas.
Yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You need that, don't you? I was saying the other day to Susie, I was like, I really feel sorry for boxers. You know, if you've got a fight like January and you've had to stay in camp over Christmas, I think I'd just say, no, I'm okay. I'll fight in March or something.
Yeah, I think after Christmas I still had 6 weeks, that's all right.
Yeah, it's plenty of time. So was Bec always like an opponent that you were looking at fighting, or was it just how it all come about?
I think we looked at her for her debut, but I think she got a cut in one of her fights, so couldn't make that happen. So happy to get it for the second one.
Yes, exciting times, exciting. So what are you expecting from Bec? Because obviously she was quite active actually throughout the pandemic. She fought quite a lot actually, and she never sits down. I don't think she ever has a break. And obviously she had the Ebony Bridges fight and it definitely didn't go her way. So what are you expecting from Bec in this fight?
I think she's had plenty. I know she takes a lot of fights at short notice, so I think she's had it. So she's had 8 weeks notice for this one, so I think we'll see the best of her.
Yeah,
I'm expecting a good fight.
Yeah, definitely. Me and Susie done a quick like weekly roundup, and we mentioned your fight, and I said I think this will be like the best version of Bec Connolly, because obviously she's coming off that loss. She's probably got a point to prove. And obviously she's had a full camp, and then you've had a full camp. You're coming off obviously a great win from your debut. So it's going to be a really, really good fight. So how confident are you going into this one?
Yeah, I'm confident. I've got to be confident in my own ability. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure she's going to bring it, and I'm sure it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah. And I think that's what you want though, isn't it? Out of an opponent, you want the best version of that person, don't you?
The more they come to fight, the better it is for me.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And do you see it going the distance, or are you wanting the knockout? How are you projecting
I'm planning it? I'm planning for the distance. We trained hard for 8 rounds. Yeah, I mean, if the knockout came, it came, but I'm planning for the 8 rounds. She's a tough girl. I know she doesn't get stopped often.
No, she definitely doesn't. And did you say it was an 8-round fight?
Yeah.
8 rounds. And is it in your call?
Your call, yes.
Yes. Yeah. And that's where your debut was, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
that's a great place to fight as well.
Yeah, it's a good venue.
Nice. And it's the 11th of February. How can people get tickets for that?
Contact me for tickets, DM me or contact me.
Yeah, because it's not one to be missed. So obviously you're in camp. So what does like day to day look like for you then at the minute during camp?
Well, I still work part-time as well, so I have to fit my training around my kids and my work and fit it all in. So yeah, it's busy.
Yeah. So what job do you do part-time?
So I'm a secretary, admin, part-time, but luckily I'm working from home at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Till the end of this month, anyway.
Yeah,
so saves a bit of travelling. So I run on my lunch breaks. I train in the evening. Do my strength conditioning as well. So I fit it all in somehow.
How? And then obviously you've got kids. How many kids do you have?
2
kids. So obviously you're working part-time, you're running on your lunch break, you're training after work, you've got kids to feed and look after.
Yeah.
Exhausting.
It is sometimes. Sometimes there's not enough hours in the night.
No, definitely not. How do you do? And do you ever get to the point where, I mean, I don't even have kids, but I can feel overwhelmed so quickly with like the littlest of things. So with all of that, do you ever just think, oh my God, how am I doing it all?
No, I don't know. I don't really. I enjoy it so much that I find time for everything. It all fits in.
Yeah, that's it.
Plenty of times as well.
I think if you enjoy it, obviously, then no matter what, I think even if you're having a bad day or you're tired, I think there's ways to push yourself through, isn't there?
Definitely.
So you had like a very successful amateur career. So would you just talk us through that? And like, how did you get into boxing? Actually, we'll start with that.
Well, I fell into it by accident, really. Me and my friend did a boxercise class one day. We really just to keep fit, and we enjoyed that. And then we joined the kickboxing gym, and we just used to do like the circuit training and the exercise a bit, like pads and stuff. And then I joined the boxing gym just to keep fit, carrying on. And they talked me into it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to box properly. But yeah, then I started sparring and I started enjoying that. And I thought, I'll give it a go once. And then I won my first one, and that was it. Carried it on from there.
Yeah, I mean, it always helps if you win your first one, doesn't it? I mean, if you lose, you're a bit like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. Yeah. So then what did you go on and do then once you won your first amateur fight?
First one, then I went on to win like the novice ABA title, and then boxing the elites, and then I think I'd been boxing 18 months, and then went for GB selections for the first ever female GB squad. It's the first time it's in the Olympics, and surprisingly it got picked. Just went on from there. Won a few national titles, boxed for England all over the world, so that's good.
So modest there. I mean, because you won a lot of titles, didn't you? And like I mean, just being selected as well for the GB squad. So who was you training with at the time when you were in Team GB?
Tasha Jonas, Amanda Coulson, Savannah Marshall, Chantel Cameron, Nicola Adams.
Just them lot. Yeah. No one special. So it's amazing, isn't it? And obviously they've gone on to do unbelievable things in the pros, and obviously as yourself had such a successful amateur career. Did you then have a break from the sport?
Yeah, when I come off GB, when I didn't make the Olympics, I come off GB and I had 3 years out. That's when I got married. I had my first child, put on loads of weight, and I thought gonna make myself have one fight to lose the weight, to motivate myself. And then I started training again, and I started really enjoying it again. And then that's it. When I got pregnant the second time, I was straight back in the gym 3 weeks later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I wanted to go back after the second one.
In your pregnancy then, the second time, at what stage did you stop training?
I was doing, I didn't really do much boxing. I went to a gym instead and did like spinning class, things like that, up to about 6 months. And then I think I put on so much weight again.
And then what made you then think, obviously you got back in, you wanted to get fit again. And I suppose that's great motivation, isn't it? You think, right, I'm going to go back and do it competitively. Because I know I'm the same, my background's tennis, but if I'm not doing something competitive, I can 100% guarantee I will not exercise. Like, it's just not who I am. Like, I am terrible.
When I stopped for 3 years, I was really demotivated with everything.
Yeah, and I'm still the same now. Like, I'll have to do something. Like, I've done a little bit of boxing for a few years, or I have to do something, because if it's not going to be competitive, I just do not care, because I'm too competitive.
I think that's what I was still like. I can't seem to give it up, because during lockdown, I was thinking, I'm just going to retire from the amateur, and then I was just watching all the girls doing well on the TV, and I was thinking, maybe I've got to give it a go. If I don't give it a go, I'll probably regret it. So I thought, join the pro, and that was it.
And what was that the reason for going pro? Was it literally just obviously because during lockdown, even though it was frustrating, we couldn't as fans watch boxing. There was so many female fights on, and unbelievable female fights. Yeah,
it was like I was contemplating definitely retiring, and I was just thinking, I just thought I've got to give it a go. I've got to try it out.
Yeah, because like you say, you would regret it. There's no harm is in trying. Obviously, you've tried. You've won your debut. You've obviously got a great fight, and you're signed to MTK as well, aren't you?
Yep.
So it's going quite well so far. Good decision.
Hopefully it
continues. So with boxing, obviously now, kind of what are your goals in the sport?
I'd love to win a world title. I mean, I'm watching some of the other girls boxing for them and winning titles. I definitely think that if I'm given the right opportunities, I can.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. We've seen fighters earlier on in their careers getting world title opportunities because, I mean, I suppose the depth isn't there. So I prefer it though, because I don't like where we see sometimes, you know, someone's like 12, 15 fights in and they're still fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, not great opponents. I quite like where we're getting like, you know, you're fighting Bec Connolly in your second fight. You know, if you switch that maybe to the men's because there's bigger depth, you know, you're talking like 15 fights in before we see something decent. So obviously you've seen fighters where, you know, after 6-7 fights, they're getting like world title opportunities. So it's there for you, isn't it, to grab?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to just push on, move as fast as I can.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's being in these big fights, like that's coming up. Obviously, if you're in these fights with good opponents, you learn onto the next one. And then obviously that opportunity comes quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So what weight are you fighting Bec at?
Bantamweight.
Bantamweight. And is that the weight that you're sticking in?
Yeah, that's the weight. That's the best weight for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could bring my board down, but that's my ideal weight.
Yeah. So apart from obviously this fight coming up within the division, have you got your eyes on anyone where you'd love that fight?
You said anyone with the titles. Well, that's
yes.
going to get me to the
titles. Good answer. Good answer. And like, you know, when are you wanting that title? Like, how many fights in do you want to be?
I'd take it for my third. I'd take it for my next fight, like my third fight.
Yeah.
If I was offered the opportunity, obviously I need to put myself in a place that I deserve the opportunity. But if it was offered, I'd take it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's not something you can turn down.
Yeah.
Any one of the title holders? Have you got anyone in particular where you think that's the fight I want?
Well, the one that's been over there, obviously Shannon Courtney had it, and then now Jamie Mitchell's got it, and Carly Skelly for it. So whoever's got that one's
that one. You want the winner of that one? You fought Carly Skelly, haven't you, in the amateurs?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Who do you think's going to win that fight then, Jamie or Carly?
I don't know. It's a close one, I think.
You're not allowed to sit on the fence.
Going Jamie.
You're going Jamie for that one. I think that's going to be a close one. I'm looking forward to that one as well. There's quite a few in that division in the mix as well, isn't there? And even like
fight between them could go either way, really.
That could go either way. I think some people were quite surprised when it was announced, but I'm really happy for Carly. I think she deserves that opportunity, actually. But yeah, she's done well, and obviously. Yeah, and after like that Amy Timlin, obviously there was a draw, and then nothing really come of it. I felt like she had to wait around a long time, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think like she boxed for the Commonwealth, and then she boxed for the title, so she's waited around. She definitely deserves the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight, and then, you know, obviously down the line could be a winner, and then you could face the winner, definitely. And like domestically, there's quite a few people in that division as well, which I always get excited for. Like these domestic clashes, I think sometimes can be missed, and I think there's so much, like there's such a good build up with domestic clashes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be great if they did a British title for the ladies one day. So.
Yes, I know. I always think that's such a shame. I really do, because I think that's where we miss out on opportunities. And obviously people have to skip, and then we're seeing like European titles, and then people go straight to world titles.
There'd be more domestic clashes if there was a title involved for the domestic clashes. Yeah,
because obviously a domestic clash, and obviously everyone's kind of within certain divisions, especially something like bantamweight, super bantam, all around them weights. There's a lot of 50-50 fights to be made, but when there's no, in a way, reward at the end of it, they're hard to make, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So obviously with that belt, obviously Jamie Mitchell's got it. Shannon Courtney lost it. Would you ever be up for fighting someone like Shannon Courtney?
Definitely,
if she stayed in the weight?
Yeah, definitely. I'll take any of them fights. Any fights, if they're offered me with the big names, I'll happily take them.
Yeah. Exciting times. So after this fight, obviously you're fighting February 11th. How many more times are you wanting to get out this year?
as many times as I can.
Yeah.
I boxed every month if I could, but yeah, it's obviously not realistic. So as soon as I can get out again, really.
Yeah, because it's hard, isn't it? Because I know like quite a few people who have turned over, they've really struggled. Like they've had a fight and then there's not been anything, or COVID happened, injuries, and very stop and start, isn't it? So I think obviously if you know, when you turn over, I think it'd be ideal for people to get like 3 or 4 decent fights in within that year.
Exactly. Like, and obviously need to build on the amount of fights to be able to push on for titles, to put yourself in a position where you're worthy of titles. So yeah, the more I can get experience, I can get the better.
Yeah, definitely. So in this camp, who have you been sparring with then to get ready for it?
Been sparring with quite a few people. So I've been sparring Ellie Scottney, Lauren Parker.
Yeah.
I sparred Sky Nicholson the other day.
Oh, okay.
Sparring Ebony Jones tomorrow.
Nice.
So yeah, I've had some really good sparring.
Yeah, really good sparring. All of them actually are really, really good. Obviously, Ebony Jones made her debut last year, didn't she? And hopefully we'll see her out this year. Sky's making her debut, isn't she, in America? Lauren Parker was back. I think she's had quite a long break, really, and then she was back, wasn't she, a few months back? And Ellie Scottney's just had she's got a title fight, hasn't she, coming up?
Yeah, so she's doing well.
Yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, yeah, really good sparring getting ready for this one. No stones unturned. No. So obviously your dreams to win a world title. Do you have anywhere like, you know, anywhere like a location you want to fight, or a stadium, arena? Is like the dream fight for you? Where would it take place?
I don't know, really. I haven't actually thought about that. It'd have to be somewhere like local, probably somewhere in London, literally local. That'd be, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it.
No. But yeah, you want somewhere where everyone can come and support you, don't you? You don't want to be like jetting off far. You don't want to be going to Dubai. No one can come then. So obviously still a couple of weeks to your fight. So what's your plan for like the rest of camp, and when will you start tapering off?
So we'll have 2 more weeks of sparring and taper off from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, pushing hard these few couple of weeks.
Are these the hardest, getting into like the last couple of weeks? Are they the hardest?
Yeah, I'd say like this week and the next week are probably the hardest pushing,
yeah.
Training wise, and then gradually tapering down.
Yeah. And is it more, do you have more sparring towards the end of your camp, or does it stay quite like consistent throughout?
Stays quite consistent. Try and spar twice a week.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect camp, spar twice a week.
Yeah. And then do you have like your S&C and all sorts like that added on top?
Yeah, I do that 2 or 3 times a week, and then running, boxing.
How many days off do you give yourself?
1.
Sunday. Everyone picks a Sunday, don't they?
Sunday's a day of rest.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, best of luck for your fight coming up. So just remind us again how people can get hold of tickets for your fight.
So DM me or contact me. It's 11th of February, and I've got tickets that I can send out.
Perfect. And are you mainly on Instagram? Is that the best place to get you?
Instagram or Facebook.
Instagram or Facebook. And it is your call, isn't it? The 11th of February. Yeah. And it's going to be a good one. It's a really good show, actually, isn't it? All the fights on there. It's good.
Headlining it, and he's from my gym too.
Yeah.
Really good fight. Yeah, all that's good on there. So
yeah, that's a really good show actually. And your call is just like a brilliant place to be. Actually, it's a great place to watch boxing. So yeah, everyone obviously get on to Nina for them tickets. Best of luck, obviously. Best of luck in your training camp. Best of luck on the night, and yeah, we should catch up soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to our channel, where we have new videos dropping all of the time. Also head over to our social media pages, where we have the latest boxing news, as well as interviews and live coverage from boxing events.